Build the campus of your dreams in this new Tycoon builder game from the creators of 2 Point Hospital. Educate the masses or send your school to the bottom of the board. It's kind of your choice, really. In this review, we will look to see if 2 Point Campus is everything you're looking for in a building sim or just one of those nightmares from your school years. And the most important question, is it worth it? So you might be sat there thinking the name 2 Point Campus does seem fairly familiar. Well, you are right. It is brought to you by the same people that bought 2 Point Hospital. They have brilliant naming conventions, but at least you know what's what with them. In this review, we will focus on a few main categories, with those being the visuals, the gameplay, and the story, or career mode as it is named in 2 Point Campus. Let's start by talking about the visuals. If you play 2 Point Hospital, you'll be pretty familiar and forgiven thinking you were playing the same game. It's a very similar stylized visuals. It has bright saturated colors. It's a style that I actually really enjoy. The artist style is a perfect fit with the humorous atmosphere that it creates with all the animations and even the sound the game provides through things like the tannoy and what the receptionist is saying. It's pretty cool. It's got a few laughs there for you. It's a style that feels light-hearted but well done. Your campus still looks beautiful. It's easy to distinct items and people from each other, all while a nice bright visual style to go with this comedic and fairly relaxed game. You will see your students interacting with each other, making friendships with a variety of different animations across the board. Watch them as they sort of make friends with each other or bully each other. Watch as they try to create like an oversized burger in the classrooms. They're amazing animations, digging up fossils, learning about VR, or even how to cast spells and brew potions in a massive potion pot. A cauldron, that's what they call it. There is a range of lessons and classes, as you can probably imagine, all with their own unique animations, interactions, and even the students look different for each of those sort of courses that they'll be going on. So it gives you this huge variety in different assets that are used within the game, and this is a really welcome sight, to be honest. It gives you all the tools to create a beautiful campus, all the decorations, all the things you can add and that you can buy with the money, or the specialized currency, which I think is called like kudos or something like that. I can't pronounce it. You can really add your own unique style here. You'll find plenty of references to pop culture, a welcome sight in a game not trying really to take itself too seriously. It doesn't mind referring to pop culture, doesn't mind making fun of itself even. Even the overmap will throw you back to 2 Point Hospital. It looks very similar. They've stuck to what they know here. The developers have stuck to what they know and what worked for them with 2 Point Hospital, and this isn't really a bad thing. It doesn't really try to invent anything new here, but why would you if what you had worked well? My only gripe with its visuals and overall presentation is the camera movement, specifically for the panning and tilting. If using a mouse, you can use the middle mouse button, which is pretty standard in most city builders and sim games and tycoon games. However, if you move left to right, you can no longer tilt up and down, and likewise, if you're trying to tilt up and down, you can't then tilt left and right without releasing and then repressing the middle button. And this actually took me longer to get used to than I thought it would. I would have liked to have been able to pan and tilt without having to release that middle mouse button and repressing it. Outside of this, I didn't really have any drops in frames, I had no visual bugs, and everything felt really clean and really polished. Overall, 2 Point Campus has a very well polished visual presentation, reminiscent to its predecessor 2 Point Hospital. It's a style that worked well there, and it's nice to see them use this same style so they can spend that more time on development in other areas of the game. If you enjoyed that visual style of 2 Point Hospital, you'll enjoy it here. If you didn't, you're probably not going to like it here. One thing I do want to talk about as well is not just that visual presentation, but also the audible presentation from 2 Point Campus. The tannoy, which I've already talked about, they come out with some good witty comments, and they are quite funny, at least the first few times of hearing them. You'll also get like ads during the radio, and the ads are similar to what you'd find in something like Grand Theft Auto, just a lot more tame than you'd find in that sort of game. Aside from that, you've also got the music from I think it's meant to be like a radio station, and there are some really good tracks there. There's not really a great variety of tracks. There seems to only be a handful, but what is there is actually really good, and it's produced to a really good quality, and it's good background music. I can imagine, again, with DLC, this will all only be added to. Moving on to the gameplay, the most important part of any game. 2 Point Campus plays very similar to its older brother and to most other tycoon-style games, having to hire staff with different skills or subjects that they can teach, ensuring that you have the right amount to complete all the classes required. It feels very similar to playing like a zoo tycoon game, making sure you have the right staff there to look after the animals. Janitors and assistants fit a similar role across all tycoon style games of this nature, not just 2 Point Hospital, but all those other like Planet Zoo, Planet Coaster, and they clean up rubbish and they act as your sales assistants for stores, and they'll operate other things that doesn't really fit into a specialized role. You as the player will also have to manage their wages and their general needs, their happiness and their basic needs as well. You've got to keep your students happy or they may drop out or fail the class, provide the additional items to increase their learning speed, to get better grades, provide them with entertainment and friendships, which conveniently are all the things I didn't have in school. That might explain a few things. 2 Point Campus never really innovates, which you might have seen across this review so far. It never innovates with the formula of a management style game. Heat maps to manage effects such as temperature or attractiveness, upgrading equipment and researching are all the same tropes that you'll find in Zoo Tycoon, Planet Coaster, Planet Zoo, just to name a few of them. Whilst the innovation isn't there, I will say a game doesn't always need to innovate to be a good game. Where 2 Point Campus differs is that it's with building a school or a campus. We've seen plenty of sim management games in zoos, theme parks and hospitals over the years. However, schools and campuses are something that haven't really been done too much to my knowledge, and it's quite a breath of air for what's come out recently, to have a different type of environment and a different challenge, even if the gameplay mechanics and systems don't come with game-changing innovation. I said before, but 2 Point Campus is not trying to take itself too seriously. You'll constantly come across comedic elements, things that will try and make you laugh, things that are so light-hearted, from oversized items that you place to the students' interactions, chasing down intruders and then shooting them with a water pistol, sending them on their way, and the comments from the announcer throughout the game. The comments really got me. I really enjoyed those. You'll find an experience here that's familiar, but that familiar feeling of greeting an old friend rather than an overdone system. I was finding the gameplay to be pretty engaging, yet not too challenging to be honest. It was something I could really unwind to. I could choose to either make my campus as efficient as possible, as beautiful as possible, or to be awarded with the highest grades at the end of the year, or even other awards. There was awards for, training your staff up. 2 Point Campus doesn't really have a story, as with most of these tycoon or management style games. The story is set out as more of a career mode. You are to manage a series of campuses in different locations, with each campus having a different specialty in what it will teach. From science to cooking, all the way to learning how to be a knight or even a wizard for some schools. The career mode will take you all the way through, with each campus having its own conditions to complete, awarded in stars. Earning 1 star will unlock the next map. However, you can go all the way to 4 stars to unlock additional benefits. It's like 3 stars in a chevron. It's not actually 4 stars on the map. You'll see it is like 3 stars in a chevron. It's a bit weird. There's also quite a few maps to play on, and it's a long game to be fair, and I really like this. There are a ton of maps to play on, a ton of different campuses, and a ton of different courses, and I can imagine this is only going to be expanded to a DLC if 2 Point Hospital is anything to go by. Although, something to note is some of those DLCs for 2 Point Hospital were really good, however some didn't rate nearly as well. The storyline for each campus wasn't the most interesting, but then I never find it really is with these games, and I don't think they're meant to be either. The themes are always nice, having a theme of trying to make a school based around knights or wizards or people who are more sciencey, or even, the jocks trying to do all their sports that the campuses, will specialize in. However, the steps to gain a star, they were quite similar across every campus. Achieve this average grade, or boost this metric, train this many staff, or have this many students pass a course. It wasn't super exciting, however it gives you something to aim for whilst you run your school how you want to. I found I would achieve them as I played anyway, without really having to focus too much on them, but instead I could focus on trying to make my campus look the best, or just seeing how much money I could make out of a campus. Something I really liked in this career mode was its ability to intertwine the tutorial mechanics. They were slowly introduced, giving you the time to learn something, put it into practice before introducing you to the next thing. I never felt too overwhelmed. Adding new challenges to deal with, like needing radiators in the cold climate, dealing with natural and unnatural disasters, campus invaders, all these mechanics, and there's even more, are slowly introduced and built on as you progress through the career mode. They were set out at a pretty good place. I never felt overwhelmed on the amount of new mechanics being introduced to me at a given time. However, there were a few occasions though that I had figured something out before the tutorial tried to introduce it to me, such as loans. I discovered these bad boys way before the tutorial of it. This is how loans work. Overall, 2 Point Campus gives us a fairly unused setting for a Tycoon management game. Aside this, it doesn't innovate in its mechanics, but neither do the mechanics and systems there ever feel actually boring or stale. The beauty is in the visuals and the animations. Don't let the bad camera rotations put you off a series of comedic schools, fun eye-catching classes and environments to build in for your perfect school. It feels like 2 Point Hostel, just with a different setting. It makes it easy for me to recommend to people who enjoyed that game. You will likely enjoy this one, and if you didn't like that game, you'll be less likely to enjoy it. For strategy tycoon sim management fans new to 2 Point series, I would recommend to try it though. The price is fair for what's on offer, and for those with the Xbox Game Pass, at the time of recording, 2 Point Campus is included in this plan, so there's literally no reason not to give it a go. And on this basis, I would say it's definitely worth giving a go. Have you tried 2 Point Campus? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.